Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Undergraduate Pilot Training Graduation Ceremony for Class 2505. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Kinnear, Commander of the 8th Flying Training Squadron, training students in the T-6 Texan II.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Eric Pounds, Commander, 71st Student Squadron.
Today's ceremony is a once-in-a-lifetime event. We encourage you to come forward and take pictures or videos when your loved ones are presented an award or their wings. For your planning purposes, the wings are presented by rank and then alphabetical order.
Please stand for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for the national anthems of Bulgaria and the United States, followed by the invocation given by Chaplain Chase Rotman.
Good morning. I invite you to join me in a prayer in accordance with your faith tradition as I pray in mine, or to take a celebratory moment of silence. Good and gracious God, I'm thankful for this opportunity where the students before me will get their wings, surrounded by family and friends who are thrilled to celebrate their accomplishments over the season of life. Each of these students have stepped forward and accepted the demands our nation has put on them. So I pray that they may go forward with their wings, never losing the fire and determination that got them here. I pray that you will use their skills and training to protect their families, to serve our community, and make our world a better place to live. May their selflessness, honor, and superiority speak to us today. Their hours of training in the aircraft, academics, flight rooms, simulators have proved difficult. Their resolve and resilience, coupled with their core values, has become a light on the hill to those who are present here today. So my prayer is that their fight and tenacity propels each of us to consider the choices we make in our own lives, choices to serve each other and work toward the common goal of security and peace for those near and far off, regardless of the difficulties we face. And finally, these graduates would not be sitting before us without the sacrifice of IPs, loved ones, and their peers. So may you bless these families and friends who have traveled far distances to witness the Air Force's newest aviators gain their wings. Bless now the graduation class of 2505, as all of us rejoice together in the accomplishments of these outstanding men and women. This we ask in your powerful name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Rotman. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Today, 24 officers will receive their wings. On behalf of Colonel Charles Throckmorton IV, Commander 71st Flying Training Wing, I would like to welcome the families and friends of Class 2505, as well as several members of Team Vance, including squadron commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, spouses, and our ASRC and Amentum contractors.
We are honored to have the following guests from our civil and wing leadership here to support the graduates. The Command Chief, 71st Flying Training Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Harvey McReynolds, and our special guest, Airman of the Month from Public Affairs, Airman First Class Jordan Silence. The Deputy Commander, 71st Flying Training Wing, Colonel Carl Miller III. The Commander, 71st Operations Group, Colonel Eric Bissonette and his spouse, Biz. The First Sergeant, 71st Operations Group, Master Sergeant Austin Wyman. Representing the Commander of the 71st Mission Support Group, Lieutenant Colonel Dane McCreary. Representing the Commander of the 71st Medical Group, Lieutenant Colonel Douglas Holmes. We are also honored to have the following distinguished visitors as special guests of Class 2505. Please stand or wave your hand to be recognized. On behalf of Second Lieutenant William Lauterbach, Lieutenant General Donald Weekman, United States Air Force, retired. On behalf of Second Lieutenant John Hermiston, the Honorable John Hermiston and his wife Anna Hermiston. On behalf of Second Lieutenant Aaron Garcia, Rear Admiral Doug Beal, United States Navy, retired. On behalf of Second Lieutenant Logan Delaney, Colonel Tim Culley, United States Air Force, and her husband, Lieutenant Colonel retired Mike Culley.
We'd also like to give a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Colonel Todd Taberke, United States Air Force, retired, and the Commander, 71st Flying Training Wing, Colonel Charles Throckmorton IV, and his spouse, Brooke. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Throckmorton.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Vance Air Force Base in Enid, America on our favorite day, Graduation Day. We're happy to have you here. To all my brothers and sisters of Team Vance, thank you for being here, and thank you for all that your airmen have done to make this graduation possible. I know they are just as proud as we are. I'd also like to welcome our fellow service members and all the veterans who have taken time to be here today. Thank you for setting the example for these young men and women, and thank you for setting the dedication to service that has proven so grateful for our country. A special Team Vance welcome to Lieutenant General Wedekim. Hopefully we got that right, sir. All right, I got a thumbs up, so I'm taking it. Rear Admiral Beal, Colonel Culley, and the Honorable Judge Hermanson and Miss Anna. Thank you all for being here today. To the friends and family of Class 2505, welcome to today's ceremony. You have provided our graduates the principles, the moral compass, and most importantly, the work ethic to get through this challenging program. Thank you for everything you've done up until this point and all the support and love that you've provided to these young men and women over the years. To provide you a little background and context, Vance is one of 4 bases in the United States Air Force whose primary mission is to conduct undergraduate pilot training. Just for the record, we're the best one. We don't debate that, we just take it as a fact. Our mission is to prepare and deliver highly qualified aviators for follow-on training in a variety of aircraft in our Air Force and those of our partner nations. Vance has delivered more than 38,000 world-class pilots since 1941, including 2 Medal of Honor recipients, a World War II P-51 ace, 7 astronauts, more than 200 general officers, including the 15th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Richard Myers, and 2 notable first assignment instructor pilots, General Ronald Fogelman, who rose to be the Air Force Chief of Staff, and Colonel Eileen Collins, the first Space Shuttle female commander. Class, make no mistake, you're graduating on sacred ground. Air Force heroes have walked these halls and learned how to fly aircraft with VN on a tail, and I know that you will follow in their footsteps and make us all Vance proud. Now, in the seats next to you are those that you have formed a special bond with. You've worked hard, and hopefully you've had a little fun too along the way, and in the end, you've made it here to graduate and become military aviators. You've experienced the wonder of flight, and you know what it means to master something extremely difficult. Most importantly, you understand the entire support system it takes to get you in the air for each flight, and the fact that it requires a team. Now, we're so close to the moment we talked about the entire time you've been here, and quite honestly, my favorite part of the job, but I have a few additional thoughts that I want you to consider before we get to that moment. We expect you to be competent, credible combat aviators, while also never forgetting the expectation to be competent, credible officers. You've learned the skill set which you will continue to hone with each flight. Don't ever lose your love of aviation, but the charge ahead of you is to be the officer and the aviator that our country needs. During your time in the Air Force, your mission will change, your station will change, the aircraft you fly will change, but taking care of people and your Air Force family will never change. Today, we're celebrating the folks in the front rows, but it takes an entire total team of effort to get to this point. And they've all contributed to Class 2505. We all pour a ton of resources in them. In fact, we invest well over $1 million into each student to make them the next generation of Air Force pilots and leaders. Money alone will not get them to this point, and it takes the joint effort of our entire 2,600 airmen, government civilians, and contract partners that make up Team Vance. Whether they're supporting, generating, or executing the flying mission, all have played a vital role to get you to this point today. Among them are 3 groups that I'd like to single out. The first is the least represented, as they always are, our instructor pilots. And that's because they're already on the flight line, working hard with the next class to get them to this point today. They've poured their heart and souls into you, and I hope you have learned as much as you possibly can from them, because they are the world's finest instructors. A round of applause for our instructor pilots. The second one is our amazing group of maintainers. We launch nearly 200 sorties a day, each and every day out of this installation. And our airplanes are broken, usually because of our student pilots and our instructor pilots, right? We're really good at breaking airplanes. But each day we provide safe aircraft to order to execute our mission, and that is all because of the amazing folks that we have out on the flight line that fix our airplanes. So a round of applause for our mechanics at Momentum and our MAQ team. And last but certainly not least is our amazing group of men and women who make up our medical and support groups. Our defenders, services, finance, MPF, dental and flight medicine, airmen, just to name a few. The wings you are about to receive would not be possible without the efforts and their dedication to your mission. And I know they are just as proud of you as we are. Class, on behalf of all of Team Vance, we want to say congratulations and welcome to the family of military aviators. It is now my distinct privilege to introduce our guest speaker, Colonel Todd Taberke, retired. Colonel Taberke culminated his 28-year Air Force career as the reserve advisor to the commander of Air Combat Command. He was directly responsible for matching resources requirements between the regular Air Force and Air Force Reserve Command, maximizing the readiness and combat effectiveness of the total force. Prior to his time as a reserve advisor, Colonel Taberky was the commander of the 926 Operations Group at Nellis Air Force Base, providing the Air Force Warfare Center with support for operational testing, tactics development, and advanced air training. These units commonly serve as aggressors, replicating the capabilities of our adversaries to provide the most challenging air combat scenarios in the training world. Now, sir, we won't hold it against you, but Colonel Taberky did graduate from Laughlin Air Force Base in 1997, and he went on to fly nearly 3,000 hours in the F-16 with assignments at Luke, Moody, Korea, Belgium, and Nellis. We're thrilled to have Colonel Taberky here today to visit with Team Vance and share his insight into the total force and the critical contributions of the Air Force Reserve to our nation's defense. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Colonel Taberky.
Thanks for the kind words. Let me just start by saying that I am fully aware that no one in here will remember a single word that comes out of my mouth today. And so as I prepped for this mentally, I didn't write anything down. So that could either go good or it could go poorly. We'll see how that goes. But, as Major Taberky reached out to me to come spend some time with you guys, he told me that he invited the most talented aviator that he ever knew, and that person turned him down. And then, excuse me, and then he invited the best looking fighter pilot that he knew, and that person also turned him down, right? And then he asked me, and I really started to feel bad about turning him down 3 times in a row, and so I graciously accepted it at that stage. So I'm an old fighter pilot, okay? And you guys have gone through a rigorous training, as Colonel Throckmorton mentioned already. You're embarking on a career that they make movies about, right? How exciting is that? The last time I was on a pilot training base was when I was in your seat, okay? So I commend you guys as you all take these steps to further your career to become combat aviators, competent, credible, all of those things. Take that to heart because it will serve you down the road, okay? And I want to plug 3 words that I'm pretty sure you've heard during your time here at Vance, okay? And correct me if I'm wrong, or you can join in when I say this, but aviate, navigate, communicate, right? That's probably the last time you'll hear those words, because when you get out into the Air Force, execute your mission. After I left Laughlin Air Force Base, I never heard those words ever again. But here's what I can tell you. Those 3 words are all about priority management. Okay? Priority management will keep you alive. It'll keep your wingmen alive. It'll lead to mission success. Because what is 20 miles down the road is not necessarily the most important thing to do right now. Okay? So in terms of aviation, aviate, fly your airplane, know yourself, know your jet, know your enemy, right? That's, in my mind, what fits into the aviate category. I'm sure there's some other things that I'm forgetting. There's a lot of experienced aviators and military professionals in the room. Navigate. You got to put your jet where it needs to go, right? Whether that's tactically, whether that's because you're handling an emergency procedure, whether there's lives on the ground, lives in danger on the ground of those that you support. You got to be able to fly your airplane to where it needs to go. You do that by being able to aviate first, right? And then communicate, let people know what's going on, either with yourself, with your airplane, tactically. Those things will start to make sense further down the road. But you need to be able to communicate, whether that's inquisitive, whether it's directive. Those situations, scenarios will change over time, okay? The thing that most people forget about is the communication to those that support you. As you guys embark on this phenomenal career, you're going to have a whole Air Force of individuals behind you. And your wing commander mentioned a lot of them, actually quite most of them actually, right? Make sure that the life support airmen, the harm and SARM airmen in your units understand that you appreciate what they do for you. Make sure that you build those strong relationships with the maintainers. Those guys are going to save your life. They're going to fix your airplanes. They're going to keep the airworthiness of the platform to where you need it to be. And so make sure that you communicate to them that you support them. Don't forget the medical guys, the finance guys, you know, everyone that supports you, right? It's so easy as a company grade officer in the Air Force to complain, right? And it seems super hard for us to let people know when your fellow airmen are doing a great job, right? So make sure that you communicate that to them. To the families and friends in the room, I will tell you from my experience, I would not be standing in front of you right now if it wasn't for my wife. And I wouldn't have made it into pilot training if it wasn't for the foundational principles that my parents and my siblings helped build as I was growing up. So thank you for your investment up to this stage. Thank you for the investment that you will continue to pay in the future as you support these phenomenal aviators and they go forth and do amazing things. And so I'm gonna close with sharing a story. I don't know how exciting it is, but it really kind of brings together the aviate, navigate, communicate type of thing I just talked about. So before I do that, I'm gonna step away from the podium. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, I'm gonna coach you. Like, as aviators, we like to tell stories and we like to tell lies about each other. All right, so I'm gonna share some rules of that so that you know going out into, you know, wearing a flight suit, being at the bar or having a Coke or a beer or whatever with your colleagues and friends, how you go about this. Okay, so the rule number one of telling a good story is only 10% of it has to be true. All right. The second rule has two parts. The first part is a poor story told well is better than a good story told poorly. And the second part of that is don't take on that too much. There's some other choice words in there sometimes, but this is next audience. So now when you're telling a story, you got to stand up and you start every good story with, "There I was." And the response to that is, "No shit." Right. So there I was. No shit. Oh, come on. So there I was. I was in the 310 Fighter Squadron at Luke Air Force Base. We were the designated squadron to rotate all of the F-16s on 8 squadrons were the F-16s through depot maintenance for hardware and software updates. Okay, and I fly up to Hill Air Force Base from Phoenix. I go to depot maintenance. I look over the forms, and I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go. Right, I swing by base ops, follow my flight plan. You guys still do that? Or is that not? Give my weather brief, and then I step out to the airplane. And there's a depot maintenance guy, crusty old civilian, knows more about the F-16 than I'll ever tend to know. Follow me around and climb up into the cockpit, strap in. He takes the ladder away, and I crank up the airplane, right? And there's a critical failure in this hardware called MIDS. Don't ask me what that stands for, but it's effectively a server, if you will, for data link processing. The MIDS, I get a MIDS fit, right? I'm like, no big deal. I'm less than an hour from Luke Air Force Base. Weather's clear, a million, right? I'll take it, right? And I don't have the maintenance guy hook up and load the crypto keys so this thing will actually work properly, right? And so I'm taxiing out to the runway, and I'm looking out to the south, and I'm like, man, there looks like a whole lot of cumulus nimbus cloud out there, a big wall of I'll just say crap between me and where I need to go, right? And I just noticed that, get out on the runway, blast off. I'm westbound. I turn south. It's pretty easy to get out of Salt Lake and Vance Air Force Base and get down to the Phoenix area. I'm climbing up. I'm ramping up, and my entire navigation system crashes. Right, and it crashes at a moment when I'm at 27,000 feet. Right, just entered the clouds. Right, or just prior to entering the clouds, it dumps. I don't even have an attitude. And so I go on an alternate mode. About a minute later, I've at least got an artificial horizon right before I go into the clouds, right? And so here's ready for this. There used to be a nexus right just south of Salt Lake City where there were three connections of center controls right at the border of all three of them. And in that area, you couldn't talk to any of them. So now I'm in the clouds with a rudimentary artificial horizon. I can't talk to anyone, and I'm going, man, this could be the day that I'm gonna have to bail out, right? This is not good. I break through. I'm in like a big freaking cereal bowl, right? I'm in clear airspace, no clouds, but it's all around me, right? And I've got. You guys still file paper charts, or is that all I'm ready yet? Reaching back behind me. So I was telling one, I didn't catch it really. I was telling one of your classmates that he's like 7 feet tall. He would have trouble fitting in an F-16. And I'm reaching back into this map case, right? Doing some type of yoga to move. I pull out this chart, I unfold it, right? And it's like this big, and I'm searching for frequencies. And then I squat in emergency, and I started descending down and kind of going in and out of the stand, out of the clouds, looking out the window. And then I see what I think is the Grand Canyon through a little hole in the cloud. I'm like, there goes the Grand Canyon, right? So at least I'm still pointing in the right direction, right? It's off my right wing. I know if I just keep pointing this direction, I'm gonna bump into something else that I recognize. Looking out the window. Okay. So I descend down to about 12,000 feet. I'm in clear airspace, no more weather to worry about. Can't find anyone to talk to, and eventually I recognize where I'm at. Right at the same time, I end up releasing an air traffic control. And I was just north of Scottsdale, Arizona, so I deviated to the east a little bit from where I wanted to go. And I end up recovering the airplane. Oh, let me back up. I'm in a clean F-16, right? Clean F-16 has about 7,000 pounds of jet fuel in it, which isn't a whole lot. But you just understand that when you get to your next airplane. But as I'm going through all these maneuvers, trying to fly my airplane, figure out where the heck I am, talk to somebody, the fuel's going down, right? And I'm like, I'm either going to hit Phoenix, I'm going to fly to Mexico, and I'm going to run out of gas. Okay? And so, if you didn't learn this, rule number one of flying airplanes, don't ever, ever, ever run your airplane out of gas. So I talk to someone, I recover, seat cushion is, sucked up into my gluteus maximus as I'm super nervous about what's going down, land the airplane, and I'm like, I was closer, right? And as I reflect on that, standing in front of you in real time, right? At least I was able to navigate, right? But if I would have been competent in the airplane when the upgrade was going through, I never would have taken the airplane with that failure that I taxied and took off. And so it's imperative that you guys know your airplane in and out. There'll be challenges with that along the way. They take you 1,500, 2,000 hours in an airplane before you really get part of you, right? But you need to know that, so that when proverbial shit hits the fan, you're not trying to analyze, you're not trying to remember what the wiring are in your airplane. Okay. So I'll close with that and realize that maybe you'll remember the story. Certainly remember how to tell a story. It's a little more verbose than it always should have been. But congratulations to you guys. Thanks for coming as a family. It's your day. Enjoy it. And go out and kick some butt.
Thank you, Colonel Taberky. Second Lieutenant Drayton R. Pohl from Class 2505 would like to present you with a small token of appreciation for being a part of this special occasion.
We will now recognize individuals who excelled in one or more phases of training. The new pilots competed for academic, leadership, and flying training awards, as well as the Top Wingman, Distinguished Graduate, and the coveted AETC Commander's Trophy. Each phase of training was carefully weighed, and only a slight margin separated the top performers. Lieutenant Colonel Douglas Holmes will present the Academic Excellence Award to the pilots whose overall academic test averages exceeded those of their peers. The first recipient of the academic award is Second Lieutenant Nicholas Jackson. And if you want to take pictures, please come up and take pictures. We'll keep them up here. The second recipient of the academic award is Second Lieutenant Alexander Marinkovsky.
Congratulations. Lieutenant Colonel Dane McCreary will present the Leadership Award. The Leadership Award is presented to the officer who demonstrated outstanding leadership qualities and potential through this most rigorous and demanding military training program. The recipient of the Leadership Award is Second Lieutenant William Lauterbach.
Colonel Bissonette will now present the Flying Training Award. The Flying Training Award is presented to the pilots whose daily flying performance and check ride scores exceeded those of their peers. The recipient of the Flying Training Award is Second Lieutenant Drayton Pohl.
Colonel Throckmorton will present the Top Wingman Award. Selected by their peers, the Top Wingman Award is presented to the graduate who epitomized the support and teamwork critical to being a great wingman. The recipient of the Top Wingman Award is Second Lieutenant Timothy E. Whetstone.
Colonel Throckmorton will present the distinguished graduates. To be selected for this honor, a student must maintain an exceptionally high average in all phases of training and finish in the top 10% of their class. The first distinguished graduate is Second Lieutenant Michael G. McGahey. The second distinguished graduate is Second Lieutenant Drayton R. Pohl.
Well done. Finally, the most prestigious trophy the Air Education and Training Command presents to a pilot training graduate is the AETC Commander's Trophy. This pilot excelled in both flying and academics and demonstrated the initiative and leadership qualities essential to the professional Air Force officer. Additionally, they personify the tenets of the Order of the Dedalians, a group dedicated to military aviation, personal integrity, and patriotism. Colonel Taberky will present this special award reserved for the officer who attain the highest overall rating throughout their program. The winner of the AETC Commander's Trophy is Second Lieutenant Drayton R. Pohl.
At this time, Colonel Throckmorton would like to recognize the instructor pilots selected by Class 2505 who most embodied the Air Force core values during T6 training and provided exceptional mentorship and instruction. Colonel Throckmorton will present the recipients a plaque in recognition of their hard work. Receiving the first award from the 8th Flying Training Squadron is First Lieutenant Gavin Deering. Receiving the second award from the 8th Flying Training Squadron is First Lieutenant Christopher Baker.
Thank you.
This concludes the awards portion of the ceremony. Now the time that we've all been waiting for. Colonel Throckmorton will formally present the diplomas and pilot wings to our graduates. As they exit the stage, they will receive a commemorative coin with their unique graduation number from the 71st Operations Group First Sergeant, Master Sergeant Austin Weinman. The new pilots' families and friends are invited to pin on their Air Force wings following the graduation ceremony.
Having completed the required course of training, the following officers from Class 2505 are awarded the aeronautical rating of Air Force Pilot. Captain Vladimir K. Petrov. Is that you okay? Congratulations.
First Lieutenant Dmitry Tashev.
Congratulations. We're proud of you. Second Lieutenant Kyle A. Bartafay. We're proud of you. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Cohen W. Croft.
Congratulations. Come on down. Second Lieutenant Logan J. Delaney. Yeah.
Second Lieutenant Benjamin B. Fonville.
Second Lieutenant Aaron I. Garcia. Well done. Yeah. Sorry.
Second Lieutenant John C. Hermanson.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Second Lieutenant Nicholas J. Jackson. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Got it.
Second Lieutenant William J. Lauterbach.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Second Lieutenant Alexander Marinkovsky. That all right? Okay.
Second Lieutenant Michael G. McGahey.
Second Lieutenant Glenn M. Mishak.
Second Lieutenant Angeline R. Neely.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Miles Odin W.M. Peter. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Cody R. Fippen.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Drayton R. Pohl. Congratulations. Okay.
Second Lieutenant Douglas H. Poole.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Brandon M. Pruden. Hey, we're proud of you. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Owen L. Roos.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Henry D. Scholes. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Allie J. Walters.
Congratulations. Second Lieutenant Timothy E. Whetstone. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Dylan P. Zinio.
Congratulations. We're proud of you.
To complete today's ceremony, Colonel Throckmorton will present Class 2505.
Attention, hut, about, pace. It is my honor to introduce our newest military aviators.